It's like a party in the USA.
We are live for a party on a Monday in the USA, live from Easton, live from Churchville. It is a party on YouTube and Rockfin and Apple and Spotify, wherever you're listening, because we had a weekend of wrestling. The Bills had a great game. What a weekend of sports.
Good sports, good college stuff, good college wrestling, good college football, good pro football. I think I'm knocked out of every league in my playoffs, but you know.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I came close. Snyder just called me on the way into work and is irate about Notre Dame not playing in the in a bowl game, but. I'm like,
that's sissy behavior. That's like, what are we doing?
I don't. It's their prerogative. If they don't want to play a game, they don't want to play a game.
It is, but it's the most take your ball and go home move of all time. Like,
But what if they don't want to? Why?
Yeah, I get it, but I think it just sends such a bad message that we didn't get our way. That if things don't go your way, don't worry about it. Just stop doing it. Just take your ball and go home.
Snyder's saying. Doesn't it teach you to dust yourself off and go get the next best thing? But my response to that was, "What's the next best thing?" It's not for a place.
It doesn't matter. There's pride.
Winning a bowl game. Bowl games are meaningless. There are 6-6 teams that go to a bowl game. Bowl games are now meaningless. It would be something you could get me with that if it was back in the days where there was 12 bowl games, 8 bowl games. Not now. There's a Midas Muffler Bowl. There's the Nabisco Furry Animal Bowl.
Aaron Bartlett in the chat. Aaron Bartlett in the chat, spot on. It's the same crap as forfeiting out of the backside.
Nope, it's lame.
It's different than that. It's lame. It's the biggest pout move of all time.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. The biggest pout move of all time. Now they have a clause in their contract. They're ranked top 12. They'll be automatically in.
Why are you throwing that in? That's a separate issue.
It's all related.
No, it's not. This is a game. This is a game that's not. It's not scheduled. It's not connected to anything. There's no stakes to it. If you are saying that they're taking their bubble and going home, for what?
It's the most pathetic move of all time.
How about when? Oh, so it's bad for Notre Dame to say we're not playing in a bowl game, but none of you guys criticized. It's totally fine when Johnny, the wide receiver, is maybe going to be taken in the 5th round, so he sits out in the bowl game. That's okay.
Who said that's okay?
You're not criticizing that.
That's not at stake right now.
What do you mean? That's happening all over the place.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Notre Dame taking their ball and going home.
And you're upset. Why? Because you don't get to watch them? What are you upset for?
I think it's a bad message to send to your team, to your fans. What
if the team voted on it? What if the team wanted it?
I think it's a lame, pathetic move. You can't change my mind.
Bowl games are stupid. They're hardly watched, and they're not attended.
Well, that's your prerogative.
It's not my prerogative.
Shout out Penn State, Clemson, Pinstripe.
It's the ratings.
All right, let's talk some wrestling.
That's what they should have. I was thinking about it. They should have a blue blood bracket for teams that aren't in the playoffs that are like really good, like historically good. Like take Penn State, Clemson, Notre Dame, put them in a bracket. Florida State.
Yeah. All right, let's talk some wrestling.
I'd rather watch that than a stupid bowl game that means absolutely nothing. All right, CKLV. What do you want to start? You want to start with Penn State because you love Penn State? You going Penn State 2 shows in a row with a sweatshirt? Now you're just going to wear Penn State stuff every show.
This is where Willie is like, we've got a lot of nicknames for Willie. Liberal Willie might come out here because I have not worn Penn State in about 3 or 4 shows now.
Liberal?
Yeah, just making things up
with alternative facts?
That fit a narrative that you want to paint in your head. I haven't worn Penn State in weeks. Well, you always like to save the best for the last. So I was going to save Cliff Keen for the big talking point. There was some other smaller stuff, Cougar Clash, Penn State Wrestling, Lehigh. So I put it in the show notes just to, touch on it. You did have PJ Duke get his first top 10 win. Kind of, it was officially an injury default, but I thought he looked great. He was leading 14-3 before Logan got injured. So PJ Duke, I thought, looked awesome. Penn State put up a lot of bonus. I don't know if you caught the Cole Marisola Nathan Taylor match.
I didn't. I caught the score. I didn't catch it.
Yeah, Marisola just undersized. I think the weighing sheet gave up like 40 plus pounds.
Yeah, Nathan Taylor's enormous. I knew that was going to be a problem, size there.
And this was like, this was Cole's first big test against like a true sized heavyweight, like true sized top 10 heavyweight. And size is definitely going to be a factor.
Yeah, well, size is going to be a factor. And this is why I have been slow playing Marisola in what I say, and also in the crystal ball, because I'm conservative. His skill level is awesome. His size is an issue, and I think a lot of people were like, I think they had the assumption that, well, he has some time to put on size. He'll put on size. Plus, it's Penn State, and they'll figure it out. And Penn State guys always kind of figure it out. And I'm like, yeah, they have a good track record, and Cole is really good, but until I see it, I think size is going to be an issue. And now, that being said, Taylor is like an exception.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if we can make a blanket statement that size is going to be an issue for Cole based on this match alone, because Taylor is enormous.
Yeah, no, he is.
Also, Duke and Rosinski, they wrestled a lot at KD's. They train there a bunch. Like, they're very familiar with each other. So that was a pretty neat match because they're buddies. And Rosinski's kind of having he had a really good true freshman year. He wrestled last year as a true freshman, qualified for the NCAAs. I think he only went 1-2 or 2-2, but for a true freshman, 57, he showed glimpses like he's a dude. And then obviously this year he beat Antrell and had a couple good wins. And so it's an interesting match because they're club teammates, and it's also a good match. Just to see where PJ's at. Rocco only beat Ryland Rogers 4-2. I didn't watch that. How'd that go? One takedown match?
Yeah, it's just a slow match. It kind of reminded me. I'm trying to blank now. There was a match that reminded me of Zach Ryder. Actually, it was one of those things where I think like these top guys. It's crazy. At 184, you have this top tier that we kind of argued about a couple weeks ago, and it's funny how much of them are winning close matches.
Yeah.
Like Angelo Ferrari winning a lot of 4-1, 5-1, 4-2 matches. Now you have Rocco winning a match 4-2. You had McAnally lose a close match. Like, it's funny, for as dominant as this top tier at 184 is, they're winning a lot of close, low-scoring matches.
Yeah, and one of the rationales I gave, I didn't change Crystal Ball yet, but I will now. But a couple weeks ago, I said, when Crystal Ball comes back out, when it's updated, I think I'm going to go Rocco Welsh with the rationale that give me the guy that gives himself more opportunities to score, that shoots more, that's more offensive.
Yeah.
And, okay, so hear me out here before y'all jump on me and say, Rocco Welsh was never an offensive dynamo. Yes, I know that. Like, Rocco Welsh, his freshman year.
By the way, he does currently have the highest bonus percentage at 184. So
that's where I'm going, right? Rocco Welsh, his freshman year, wrestled pretty much like his scores were like Angelo Ferrari's. So, yes, I know he wasn't. Don't say Willie's saying he's an offensive machine, and he's really not. I know what he was. This year, now he redshirted. He's up a weight. He's at, this year, I think he's more offensive. I think he's scores more. I think he gives them more opportunities. But now you have this result, which is nip and tuck. And so I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to reconsider.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, Max McAnally has every win this year has been bonus. The exception to his bonus is not winning a match, is losing that match to Sinclair 6-3. Every match that Max has won has been bonus. But it is funny, like all the guys at 184 kind of, none of those top guys are head and shoulders above the others. They're all right there where it's like Angelo's winning a lot of low-scoring close matches. Sinclair took out McAnally. McAnally has a loss.
And another thing, too, is with that, we always talk about how clearly 125 is just dealer's choice any given day.
Yeah.
Now, 184 ain't quite that. It's not that. You have a clear tier, but they are so close. Like, they're really playing with fire. I mean, for instance, it was a late takedown for Aiden Sinclair on Silas this weekend. So they're one that top tier, even though they're clear to me, tier above everybody else, and I would put in the next tier, I would put Silas and Zach Ryder. They're like one sequence away from from being upset.
Yeah. By the way, James in the chat is saying Seymour with a duck emoji. Seymour did not duck Lilladal this weekend. Seymour was very, very sick. I asked Chenzo about it when I saw Seymour was not in the lineup. I said, what's going on with Seymour? And he said, dude is really, really sick. It's like, I didn't even want him wrestling Friday night. He is super sick. He wants to go. He wants to wrestle Lilladal, but he's just very, very sick. So Seymour did not duck. And historically, Lehigh is not a team that goes out and ducks guys. Lehigh is a squad that goes out and wrestles. So
yeah,
it sucks we didn't get it. Like we wanted that match, but it wasn't. Gaming it at all.
Brutal. It's been brutal for Lehigh with injuries and sickness and everything else.
Well, when you talk about that Penn State Lehigh duel 6 months ago, it's been one of the key duels because if we would have had Crookham in there and Stanich in there and like what that lineup could have been for this duel with Seymour, but that's what happens sometimes. These things don't materialize. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So that was Penn State versus Lehigh.
What does Penn State have this week? Do we know?
Penn State has Wyoming Saturday night at 8.
Yeah, that's right. I wanted to go. I was going.
Which
Friday
Christian
night,
Carroll, Cole Marasola should be a very good one.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I think I picked Cole, I think, still. Anyway, I wanted to. There was a couple good duels close to home. But Friday night I did Faith Christian and Wyoming Seminary. And then Saturday, I wanted to go to a duel. Wyoming Wisconsin was at Army and Lehigh, Penn State. It's a short drive. But man, I just wanted to relax and watch wrestling, just give me a weekend where I can watch wrestling instead of travel. And then this week I can't. This week I'm at Ironman. I leave in 2 days. So,
Iron Man.
What do you want to talk about? Cougar Clash?
Yeah,
Clash in it?
We can. It wasn't the greatest tournament, but there was some talking.
Was fun.
Yeah. It's just, when you have Cliff Keen going on, and Cliff Keen's that's obviously steals the show of the weekend, but. You did have Oklahoma State end up at the Cougar Clash, which added some very interesting talking points. Some other random things. I thought Cannon Webster looked absolutely awesome this weekend. He had 3 techs, 19-3, 19-3, 16-1, and he had a pin in the semis. So I thought Cannon Webster looked awesome at the Cougar Clash. Seth Mendoza, who we keep talking about, and his weight. And we were talking about he's been all over the place. He was at 57. Now he's down at 49. He was down at 149 for the Cougar Clash. Ended up taking third. Did you see many of his matches, or?
No, I didn't see any of his matches, but I heard in the Swiderski match there was a lot of blood time that maybe tripped him up, or it would have been bet. I mean, if you think that Swiderski fades in matches, the theory is it didn't help Mendoza. There was a lot of breaks. I don't know if that's true or false, but yeah. I think the plan is Mendoza will be 49 next year. 49 Mendoza, 57 Colin Rath, which is a good duo in the middle there. Rath, Super 32 champ, highly ranked prospect coming out. Didn't hear too much of him for a long time because I think his last performance was Super 32, his senior year, where he took third or fourth, second, third, fourth, something like that. But he did an OTC year, so he didn't wrestle in high school his senior year. He trained at the OTC. He did go to Super 32, and that's it. That's the last we saw of him. And then I think he had surgery, so he's out now. But that'll be a good duo in the middle there.
Two big things, too, about Cougar Clash for me when you talk Cowboys.
Big, humongous stories.
So Casey Swiderski and Richie Figs, when you talk about their lineup, Richie Figs loses another match late. He was up, and then he lost 10-9. I believe it was to UNI's backup. I got to imagine, Ronnie Ramirez wins the weight. So you had Ronnie Ramirez was the 3 seed, I believe, and Figs was the 1. Ramirez ended up beating the guy who beat Figs, Regan from UNI. So I got to believe moving forward here, Ronnie Ramirez is the guy at 33.
And then he Notre Damed it. And then Richie Notre Damed it.
Yeah, he lost and then he medical forfeited out. And he's just, Richie's now 1-4 in the year. Which is crazy. Yeah. Like going into the season, it was, are we going to see the NCAA champ or the DNP Richie Figs? And it's very clear at this point, we're seeing the DNP Richie Figs.
DNP the Cougar Clash.
Right.
As the 1 seed. This is where I'm headed. And this is another, the fact that he didn't wrestle back, I think, it could be a scenario. There could be a place in the world, in the universe, where Richie Figs didn't wrestle and then there's something wrong with him and the coach said, yeah, don't wrestle back. I highly doubt that that's the case. What I think he said, nah, I ain't wrestling back. That's what I think.
David Taylor is not really don't wrestle back guys.
He's not a don't wrestle back guy at all.
So
David Taylor didn't miss a bout in college.
David Taylor didn't wrestle back, never missed a duel. Like, David Taylor is not a guy who's going to be like, oh yeah, you didn't win? Okay, just throw the towel in. Like, that is not him.
I just think, and this is where my head's at, and I didn't think the Richie Figs experiment was going to work out. And first of all, it's an experiment in and of itself that he's at 33. We never saw him at 33, right? He was very inconsistent at 125, despite winning a national title. Now, he has a terrible NCAA performance. He had a really weird year, a terrible NCAA performance. Now he's going to transfer his 5th year in college and change weights. There's a lot of moving parts there. There is a lot of moving parts to a guy that was already inconsistent.
Yeah.
Now, Ronnie Ramirez looks good. Ronnie Ramirez won this bracket, but I'm still Wrestle Jacks. That's where I'm at.
You still think there's a chance he's going to Oklahoma State second semester?
There's a difference. There's a difference between what I think they should do and what they will do, but it's fully in play. It has been discussed. It is an option, and I think they should deploy that option.
Does Jax Force starting to wrestle the high school season change that at all for you? Or do you think he would literally start wrestling high school and end at wrestling college?
He wrestled one dual meet.
No, I know, but I'm
a bad opponent. You know what's this weekend? What's this weekend?
For who? Iron Man.
This weekend's Iron Man. You know who's not wrestling in Iron Man? Jax Forrest.
Jason Bryan's in the chat saying, was David Taylor ever in a wrestleback in high school and college? That is a fascinating question. I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, I saw David Taylor get beat by Bubba Jenkins at the East Stroudsburg Open. I think it was his true freshman year. I don't know if that was a semi or not. I don't know if that would have put him in the wrestlebacks. Anyway, Jax isn't wrestling this weekend, so I don't know. I don't know why you would stay. If your intention was to wrestle your senior year, why would you come back?
Yeah. It's a fair point.
He's going to go to Okie State.
All right, so clip it.
I got yelled at for it. Will, you don't know what you're talking about. Listen, I think I still stand by. He's going to go to Okie State. Now, is he going to wrestle? I don't know. Is he going to wrestle officially? He's going to wrestle attached. He's going to wrestle at Big 12s. I don't know. I would do it.
Low single, clip it. I know you're listening.
Clip
it, low single.
I mean, look, Ronnie Ramirez is really good, but 133. If you want team points, it's very simple. If you want team points at 33, I shouldn't say team points because that's discounting Ronnie Ramirez, who could do it. Ronnie Ramirez could really score team points, like legit team points. He could. I'm not discounting him. I don't want Ronnie Ramirez or Oklahoma State fans to say, well, Willie says that they should wrestle Jax because Ronnie Ramirez isn't it and can't do it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying Ronnie Ramirez could do it. Jax Forrest, I guarantee it. Like Jax Forrest, what's the worst that happened? The worst that happens if Jax Forrest wrestles is 4th or 5th? The best that happens is champ? Yeah. The best that happens is champ? Now we're talking real significant points like 23 points to 15, 18 points. And if you say I hate the narrative, well, they can't catch Penn State anyway. You put the best team on the mat and see what you can do. You put the best team on the mat. Every year, the NCAAs is the goal. You're telling me we're going to hold chips back because what? I don't agree with it. Anyway, that's like the second or third time that I've discussed that. But anyway, Richie Fix not plays at Cougar Clash. Ronnie Ramirez wins it. Garrett Rinkin from Northern Iowa had a couple good wins and takes second. 141, Corey Land, also Northern Iowa. He won. Caleb Soderski beats Mendoza at 49. Caleb Tyus, who I picked up off waivers 3 weeks ago in my fantasy league, he wins it, beats Soderski 8-1 in the finals. Cannon Webster wins 157. Downey over Scholes by Major at 165 in the finals. Facundo over Sima at 174. That was a medical forfeit. Ryder wins at 84, 197. Andrew Real of Brown. And then Wyatt Volker beat Luffman.
Good win for Volker.
Good win for Volker.
Swiderski's funny because he started the year, he beat Lachlan McNeil at the All-Star Classic. And then
and what did I say? I said, great win for Casey Swiderski, who's now at 149. It's a good indication he's where he needs to be. And then what happened?
He's now 4-5 on the. But Swiderski's now 4-5.
Looks like a shell of himself.
Yeah, Swiderski is now 4-5 on the season, and then McNeil is doing better, 7-3 on the season. Took a couple of losses to Cliff Keen to Rivera.
Doing better? I don't know if he's doing better.
Record-wise, I'm saying 7-3 versus 4-5. But
yeah, but that he ain't doing better.
No, I don't think either one of them is doing great. But I'm strictly talking record, not.
He got majored by Larkin. He got. Let's go
to Cliff Keen.
Let's go to CKLV. Go ahead. Start off with CKLV. Well, I think the big. I don't know if it's the big story because it was expected, but Iowa State. Whoever wins CKLV any year is impressive. And sure, we didn't have a few of the teams that typically go to CKLV, but it was still a very good performance by Iowa State. And What I really liked was I was worried when they started the national duels and they came out with a date for it. I was worried that CKLV could be in jeopardy, but it was a great tournament.
Awesome tournament.
I watched for 2 days, every second I could. So
yeah, and so Iowa State looked awesome. I mean, they had the thing locked up, I think, after the morning round on Saturday, after the semis. So heading into the final session, Iowa State already locked up. It's their second title in 3 years, and they had 4 individual champs. I thought they looked great across the board.
Yeah. The only one, I guess, the first thing to really happen at CKLV was the two guys with the biggest wins from the previous week both lost round 1. Yeah. Brady Rourke beat Jory Volk, and we even did this little segment on what Rourke should be ranked and stuff like that.
Well, your take was spot on that, Flo put him at 6, and you said that's way too high. I think Internet had him at like 20, WrestleStat had him at like 19, something like that. And then, sure enough, the rankings always, they get worked out the more wrestling that happens. And then here you had, I don't think he even ended up placing, right? So
he didn't place. But yeah, it was sort of wild because Rourke was a hot in the streets, and he lost round 1. MJ Gattani was coming off a win over PK, was hot in the streets. He lost round 1, and they didn't lose to great guys. And then
and they both lost. Like Gatan lost and then lost again. Same with Brady. It wasn't even like they both just took a 1 loss and then bounced back for third. They both lost and then both didn't place.
Right. But I guess what I'm saying is right off the bat, right? We're like, okay, Brady Rourke's a thing, maybe. Okay, MJ Gatan's a thing, maybe. Boom, lost right away, first round.
Crazy.
And then Lackland, what did Lackland do? He lost early too, did he not? Well, I guess not early. He lost to he didn't lose till quarters, which was the last round of day 1, but he lost 4-3 to Rivera, and then he got majored by Colin Guy. So Lackland this year has been majored by Caleb Larkin, who is a freshman, a redshirt freshman, and majored by Colin Guy from Virginia Tech, who is a true freshman. And I just think it's evidence, not that you needed more. I mean, but there is no way that Lachlan McNeil, at the height of his powers and at his optimized self and full of passion and rigor and determination, is a major less than Colin Guy. I just think it's
5th year transfers.
That's what I'm saying. And they lose a little fire, man. So I mean, I shouldn't say they. Some of the older guys, when they transfer and they take money, and they lose some fire, and that's just another example of it. Now, I'm not.
Well, we're gonna get another example at heavyweight too.
I'm not saying that Lachlan can't come back by the end of the year and be a dude, but I'm saying if you're looking for answers, I'm not discounting Colin Guy and Caleb Larkin. But I don't care. That is not Lackland and McNeil at his best. It's just not.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go through it. Let's go through the weights. 125, I believe you picked Strickenberger, right? He beats Maximo Rentiera 8-6 in the finals. Provo comes... What?
This is what I said. Go ahead, go through the bracket and then...
Well, I was going to say, and then, Provo, who there's been some question marks, he looks pretty good. He takes out Steve O'Poole 7-0 for third place.
Yeah, so what I said here about Strickenberger was everybody knew it was going to be a pool. There were some questions even like, is Strickenberger going to go 25 again or 33? And he comes out, he wrestles against Ryder, Tyler Klinsky, and looks awful. His eyes were sunken in. He couldn't, the second, third period, he just couldn't move. He couldn't wrestle. It was total weight cut.
Yeah.
Obvious to everybody. So now you're going to Cliff Keen. You're going to have to run a really good bracket, and you're going to have to do it with 2-day weigh-ins. That's sort of a recipe for disaster. And what I said going into the tournament was, we'll be able to find out if that was just one bad cut early in the season, or if he can manage it, make adjustments, and make weight properly, and still maintain his energy. And he did. He did. I didn't know which way it was going to go, but he did. And he looked great. Although, he will, like, find a way to give up a takedown every match. Like, he doesn't do it. West Virginia coaches must be, like, nervous. But he gives up a takedown every match. But he still comes back and wins. And for a guy that you wonder about with his weight, and the reason, like, giving up a takedown is not a big deal. Giving up a takedown is not a big deal to most people. But when every match you go out and you score and you're winning. And then every match in, like, the second or third period, he gave up a score. And you're worried about his 7-minute conditioning. At every step of the way, you were like, oh no, are the wheels coming off? Oh right. No, is he gassing? But he didn't. He gave up a takedown, but he rallied back and got a third period takedown every time. So he passed every test. Now, I didn't pick Strickenberger. I think I picked Ventresca to beat Strickenberger, but Ventresca scratched.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good showing for Jet Strickenberger, and a really good showing for West Virginia. And I think it was a really great showing for Maximo Renteria, who took second. That match, that finals match was kind of like, this is why I love 125s. The guys were scrapping. They were going at it. Yeah.
I will say, too, I wish I didn't have to do this.
Okay.
But I'm glad that the 125-pounders wrestled. 125 was only one of 3 weights with no medical forfeits in a placement match. Which is bananas. 11 of the 40 placement matches were decided by medical forfeit, including 2 finals and 2 third-place matches.
That is absurd.
11 out of the 40 placement matches were medical forfeits.
Yeah, that's absurd. What's worse? Forfeiting a final of a major, forfeiting the final of a major, or Notre Dame not going to a bowl game?
They're one and the same. They're one and the same. I mean, this is like
I think forfeiting the finals of a major is worse.
Yeah, I mean, I get the argument that it's only December, but and again, like it's very easy to rush to conclusion when there's medical forfeit, whether it's a ducking, whether it's whatever. It just seems egregious to me that there's 11 medical forfeits. Like, are they 11 injuries? Are there 11 sicknesses? All of a sudden, these guys, I don't know individually, but like Piles put out a tweet just before the final started. He was
not happy. That tweet could have just said, I'm pissed off. If that tweet said, I'm pissed off, I would have known exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah, and Piles' exact tweet was a gut punch to the CKLV finals. At 133, Kyler Larkin will forfeit, not wrestling Evan Frost. At 157, Vinny Zerbin will forfeit, not wrestling Ty Waters. For the 149 third-place match, Jacob Frost will forfeit to Caleb Larkin. You could definitely, especially if you know Piles at all, you could tell he was pissed off by that.
Yeah. And I'm not saying he's wrong. I mean, I'm not saying he doesn't have a case. Now, that being said, it's 11 forfeits out of 40 medal bouts is the perfect example to put forth when we talk about ducking, where Go ahead and say it. This kid was really hurt. This kid was hurt. This kid had the sniffles. This kid had a jammed finger. Okay. Listen. 11 of 40. A couple of them might have been legit. Don't tell me everyone was legit. Don't tell me it, because it's not true. It is. We can err on the side. Let's err on the side of caution. And not
By the way,
all
it's
of
kind
them.
of like the Larkins and Frost like forfeited to each other. It's kind of like you take one, we take one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do some of those kids wrestle if like a team title is on the line? Do some of those kids wrestle if it was a blood round match at NCAAs? And you can tell me, well, yeah, Willie, there's stakes there. The stakes are higher. I get it, but listen, some of them were just, yeah, I'm done for today. That's it. All right, 133. What was the big news there, pal? Evan Frost wins in the finals over a forfeit from Kyler Larkin.
Yeah, it's like the big
Kyler Larkin wrestled really well. He beat Tyler Knox. Tyler Knox also medical forfeited in the backside. Larkin had good wins over Tyler Knox, 8-3, and then in the semis, 9-8 over Dylan Campbell. Another good win. And then Tyler Ferreira beat Dylan Campbell in the 3-4 match. He did.
Ferreira looked really good. Cornell overall looked good. I mean, we'll get there in a couple of minutes, but Jaxon Joy just unbelievable.
Yeah. So that was 133. Not a whole lot of craziness. Kyler Knox was sort of the story. Evan Frost looking good again on a 2-day weigh-in. 141, Baschamania wins the whole thing over Eli Griffin. I mean, wow, Eli Griffin comes through as a 6 seed. He beats Pearson Manville, beats Jordan Titus, beats Nash Singleton, who was the Pac-12 champ last year, and loses to Baschamania, respectable 6-2. And just, Eli Griffin was a kid. He was, it's tough to rank like lighter weight guys that are seniors. Like Griffin was a 106, 113 senior, and it's like, I don't know what to make of the guy. Like, is he going to be big enough to wrestle 125? It's tough to gauge the competition that he's wrestling. Like, he's a senior wrestling 113 pounders, and I'm not knocking it. That's how big I was, and it's just, that's how big you are. But it's tough to gauge, right? Like, I was having the same conversation with KD a couple days ago, or 2 weeks ago. Will Soto commits to Penn State, and when he committed to Penn State, I guess KD looked up his big board ranking, the one that just came out, and I have him like 150 or something like that. And KD texted me, he's like, 150, bro? Jesus. I'm like, KD, he's never wrestled above 106. And he has one national tournament placing ever. I mean, he could be really good. I think he's really good. I think he's really skilled. I think he could be very valuable as a career 25. I think he's a career 25, and there's not a lot of them. But I need to see him wrestle higher than 106 to project in college.
Yeah.
And that's a long way of saying Eli Griffin was like light as a senior in high school, and now he's wrestling 141 and making the finals of CKLV. Incredible.
100%.
Who was like that too? Doug Zapf. I clearly remember sitting at Flow Nationals. I was up in the suite with a bunch of coaches, and there was one coach. So Doug Zapf ended up going to Penn. Ended up doing really well at Penn. I think at like 157. But I was sitting with one coach, not a Penn coach, and the coach said to me, "You know who I really like? This Doug Zapf kid." And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if he's big enough to wrestle 125. He ended up wrestling 157. So it's kind of crazy. I think you got to start really liking Etchemendia if you didn't already. I know his career has been sort of up and down, but like he's become really, really consistent.
Yeah,
And,
he looked awesome this weekend, and I thought Griffin also looked really solid this weekend. I didn't like Griffin's move against Manville, where he kind of smiled and laughed after throwing Manville like on the pavement. I did not like that, but Griffin wrestled really, really tough all weekend, and Etchemendia kind of handled him well. Like it was a great match. It's not like it's one of those matches where like you don't fault Griffin for losing 6-2. You kind of fault, or you kind of give the credit for Etchemendia for putting it all together this weekend. And we've said it, like Etchemendia, if he lets it fly and he's healthy, he's as dangerous as anybody.
Yeah, he's really good. I kind of glossed over. Singleton beat Romney. 10-9. Romney was the 2 seed, and then Romney won one more match. He beat Billy DeCraker and then defaulted to 8th. So Romney, a guy that high All-American last year at 33, up at 41. We're kind of monitoring where he's at, but he lost to Singleton, and then we didn't really get to see him rebound too much. 149. Larkin beats Alec Martin and then runs into Jaxon Joy, who Jaxon Joy's cradle is the talk of wrestling right now. Jaxon Joy's cradle is the talk of wrestling. 15-0, tech falls, Caleb Larkin.
And you thought it was going to be like a pin in a minute because he took him down and cradled him, and somehow Larkin got out of it, and then Jaxon just went to the cradle 2 more times. And got, like, I think the box score was like 3-4-4-4. Match over, 15-0. Crazy.
Yeah, and the series that he works on top, and he works it methodically, is just gorgeous. He starts with legs and arm bars and stuff, and I don't know, like the last cradle that he got against Rivera, it's just like sneaky, like it's coming, and he still does it.
Yeah,
like it's coming, but it doesn't look like there's a cradle threat there, and then all of a sudden it's there. And man, it is a beautiful thing. Jaxon Joy with a tech in the semis, a pin in the finals. Eli Rivera beat Jacob Frost. So down below, this whole bracket was good. Joy beats Evans, Larkin, and Rivera. Jackson Frost beats Aiden Valencia. Elijah Rivera beats Lachlan McNeil. Then Rivera does it again and beats Jacob Frost. And in the Frost-Rivera match, there was one of those situations where Rivera was up pretty good, but then it looked like he started to fade. Like, he definitely started slowing down, and it was like, are the wheels coming off of this bus?
Yeah.
And, like, he gave up a stall or two, and then he refocused in the middle of the match. He was good, and then he lost his composure, and I was like, dude, he's going to blow this. And then he ended up with another takedown and sealed the deal. So it was a good showing for Eli Rivera.
Yeah, some of the matches too, like the backside, the Consi semis and the 3rd, 5th place matches, like it's kind of a bummer we didn't get 3 out of the 4 of those, because you had David Evans and Jacob Frost, which I wanted to see, and then we didn't get to see Evans Valencia, but you did have Larkin Valencia, which was a 10-6 match, which I thought was a great rebound win for Larkin after losing to Jackson. Kind of like, you get 15-0'd, it's kind of a morale killer, but for Larkin, then did bounce back and wrestle and beat Aiden Valencia. I thought that was a really good win on the backside.
Yeah, for sure. That was a really good bracket. 157, Ty Waters makes the finals with a tech and a pin in the semis. Down below, 3 seed Vinny Zerbin beat 2 seed Daniel Cardenas 7-5, and then forfeited in the finals. I heard different things like Zurban was fine, and then I also heard Zurban was legitimately hurt. So I don't know. I really wanted to see that match. I wanted to see. I don't know. I think it's a test for both guys. I think that's a really great matchup. Wooders very, very well might be, a title contender this year, and Zurban's been wrestling great. So
Zurban is like, I don't know if Zurban was injured or not, but I will say that like we're thankfully still not only going to see that match, but I'm curious, depending on where Zurban's at, if he's actually injured, whatever. He's got a gauntlet coming up. So first of all, him and Ty Waters will wrestle February 13th in the duel. So we hopefully see it then. The next three opponents he's got for Vinny Zurban, he's got Logan Rosinski and Brandon Cannon at the collegiate duels in a couple weeks, and then Daniel Cardenas the week after that. So he's got a couple weeks off now. So if he is injured, I hope he heals up, because then he's going to have that 3-person gauntlet, between the collegiate duels and the Stanford duel, that we're gonna see Zurban tested against the best. I was bummed we didn't get to see it this weekend. And I will say too, for like Ty Waters, anytime a guy is off for a year, medical red shirt, you don't know what you're gonna get. And he comes back off medical red shirt and up a weight. And I thought he's looked very, very solid.
He looked great.
He's looked great. And now you're going to have this Friday night a 1 versus 2 in Ty Waters versus Landon Robideau. So Ty Waters takes that CKLV title, carries it right in. And, I should always put the asterisk there, like potentially, hopefully, whatever. But those two teams are dueling this weekend, so hopefully we see that this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we should. Yeah, although Robideau didn't wrestle this weekend. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him. I'm just saying it's noteworthy. Yeah. Also, I hope Zurban, and I'm not rooting for anybody, I just like when there's premier duels, I like everybody to be healthy on both sides. I hope Zurban's okay for the Ohio State duel. Because that's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, no, that duel is going to be awesome. Ohio State, Iowa State. I think it's December 21st, I believe. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, where are we at? We're at 165. Joey Blaze, kind of workmanlike through the bracket to win Cliff Keen. Beats Sean Taylor, beats Ty Whalen, beats Nico Ruiz. Ruiz beat Marcus. Well, let me make sure it's the right one. Yeah, Marcus Espinosa Owens in his semi, and Espinosa Owens. That's not the one that beats. That's not the one that the other Espinosa Owens.
I made that mistake a couple times this weekend.
Yeah. So it's pretty chalk here. I mean, that ain't too much to really write home about. Although. Is a decent performance by Aiden Riggins with no Connor Uton in there. Aiden Riggins lost to Whalen 5-3, wrestled back, beat Olgin, beat Sean Taylor, beat Espinosa Owens, and lost to Whalen again. So not bad performance by Aiden Riggins.
No, not at all. It was definitely a very chalk weight.
Yeah. 174. Danny Wask was your top seed, makes it to the finals by beating Brody Conley. Conley beat Bauman. Here, this is Moses Espinosa Owens edged Mantanona 5-4 in the quarters. Mantanona got revenge in the 3-4 match. Carter Schubert beat, who was a 2 seed down here? MJ, right? No, was it MJ?
Yeah. Because MJ loses opening round, and then it kept being the next guy loses. So Escobedo of Cal State Bakersfield beats MJ, and then Stewart beats Escobedo, and then Schubert beats Stewart.
Yeah, MJ lost to Escobedo, not Moses Espinosa. just a really weird match. Did you watch that? Did you get to? Now, I went back to watch how it happened. The MJ Gaetan loss to Guillermo
Yeah.
Escobedo, who, by the way, Guillermo Escobedo, he's in like his 7th year of college or something like that. This dude wrestled like 220 in high school.
Really?
Yeah. But did you go back and watch that? It was crazy. Like, and classic MJ, like, no F's given. You know, they're wrestling and their upper body, and I'm going to try to outside trip you, and you're going to try to outside trip me, and Escobedo gets it. It was wild. But that was basically the match. But then MJ comes back and also loses to Bo Mantanona. So, you know, 1 week MJ beats All-American Patrick Kennedy. The next week he does not place at CKLV. So Espinosa Owen beats Mantanona. Schubert from Oklahoma comes through and beats Espinosa Owens and then beats Danny Wask.
Boomer Sooner, Mark Hall effect.
You know, how about a lot of people might not have picked up on this. Former Cal Baptist wrestlers, there were 2 of them in the finals. Carter Schubert wins it, and Eli Griffin with runner-up. Kind of crazy. But Schubert looked good, and, you know, Schubert beats Casper Stewart, and he beats Moses Espinosa Owens, who, and you're thinking, okay, he's good, but he's not that good. Hey, but he'll get beat by Wask, but he looked good against Wask.
I got a text last night. I won't tell you who it's from. You can guess. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Gotta ask Willie on this week's show if Steed's loss to Schubert isn't considered a bad loss anymore.
No, it's not a bad. Now it's not a bad loss. No.
Do you want to take a guess who that message was from? He said I need to text him this as well. So I'm assuming he didn't text you.
Who? Sikora?
Yeah.
It was a bad loss at the time. It's not a bad loss now. But, okay.
By the way, Schubert's my second stock up guy. Because I think, like, truly Mark Hall, like that, I think Bashada tweeted it, like, Mark Hall effect. And I'm like, spot on, instant retweet. Like, that has got to be a stock up. I had tweeted, I don't know who the last unranked guy to win Cliff Keen was. Somebody said maybe Nico Provo in 2023. I don't remember what he was ranked at the time. But for an unranked guy to come in and win CKLV, that's almost an instant ass stock up as you can get when you're talking winning.
He wasn't ranked?
He was not ranked.
So the rankers kind of agreed with me. If Schubert beat Steed and still wasn't ranked, they kind of said that was a bad loss at the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not a bad loss. He would have been ranked. Let's see what he did this year prior to.
And yes, Cornell Kevin, Schubert is Rochester, New York. He's from Marion, which is like 35 minutes east of me. Shout out Section 5, baby.
Well, Schubert also lost to Bauman and Tackett's this year. That's probably why he wasn't ranked, because he had a good win against Steed. But
yeah, the ranking's probably justified based on his losses. You know, one good win, whatever. Yeah. But either way, like for an unranked guy to come in and win a tournament like the Cliff Keen, I mean, that's a stock up for me as you're gonna get.
Well, put it this way.
Put it this way for me.
Schubert, this is his 3rd year in college. He has more wins this year than he had in the previous 2. And it's only December 8th. He only wrestled, that's why he wasn't ranked. He only wrestled 10 matches.
Not a wrestler saying Flo had Schubert 25 on December 1st. That's fine. For a guy who wasn't ranked on at least one of Flo or Intermat to win it is still impressive.
You get the point.
Yeah.
You get the point. It's still impressive. Yeah, good job for Oklahoma and Carter Schubert. Anything else to take away? Not really. 184. Bowman is your top seed. He makes the finals. Tech and Soldano. Soldano pinned Nietenbach in the total Soldano way. And then down below, Conway beats Zaroff. Isaac Dean beats Sal Pirine. Conway beats Dean 9-5. Both guys had takedowns. In fact, Dean had the first takedown, and then Conway had the second, had 2 takedowns after that to win 9-5. And then Conway over Mantanona.
Shout out Earl.
5-0. Looked good. Yeah, Earl picked it. Earl picked Conway. I thought it was maybe some wishful thinking, and I don't mean that Earl. I didn't mean to say that Earl was rooting against anybody, but I thought maybe Earl just wants to pick an F&M guy because that would be neat. But turns out he was justified because Conway looked really, really damn good.
Yeah, and I had done 3 stock ups from CKLV, and I did Jaxon Joy, Schubert, and Carroll. And James Conway, he's right up in there. I'd say he's honorable mention. My only problem with Conway, when you're talking stock up, I'm really talking what can this guy do at NCAAs? What can this guy do in March? What can this guy do the rest of the season? One of the struggles for me with Conway is he's not going to wrestle a top 50 guy now the rest of the year. So, so much in the Big 10, the Big 12, iron sharpens iron. And when you go through the gauntlet, it sharpens you, it prepares you, it readies you for March. I just worry with Conway's strength of schedule for the rest of the year. Conway looks great, but if you're talking about how he's going to do in March, I feel like it's still going to be a big question mark. Now, it is going to be interesting, too, how he ends up. I know it's only December, so forgive me for the seeding talk, but he's 16-1. And if he doesn't lose another match, his only loss so far, he's 16-1 with the loss to Jackson Smith of Maryland. Who knows where he's going to end up seated and this and that, but, he's definitely honorable mention. I thought it was an awesome tournament for him. I do just worry when it comes to March with that strength of schedule, what that's going to look like.
It's going to be interesting, too, because seeding's a tricky thing. I mean, not seeding, rankings. It's gonna be tricky because if he goes unscathed and he doesn't have, he very well could because he doesn't have all that top guys. It could be the case where guys in front of him lose and he keeps moving up. He could end up with a really ridiculously high ranking.
Correct.
I think sometimes I fall victim to it too with high school. Is that this guy's ranked 7th, say, but he doesn't wrestle anybody for 6 months.
Yeah.
And guys ahead of him lose. And then he rises to 3, 4. And I'm not saying this is the case with Conway, but this is an example of rankings. He rises to, he could get 4, 3, 2, and it's sort of unjust. But rankers are probably going to have to keep themselves in check for okay, it's going to be interesting.
And he will. So when he goes, he won't wrestle a top 50 guy, but at EWAs he'll have Rylan Rogers. He'll have somebody in that vicinity. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I do wonder how the weaker strength of schedule will fare him in March. But I did also, I think I read a tweet that he's got a 3.99 GPA in aerodynamics, or what was it? Is it something ridiculous? The kid is a brain, real brain.
I love seeing that. I love seeing F&M doing well. It's a really excellent staff that do a lot with
Saturday Night Lights tweeted it. He's got a 3.99 GPA in biochemistry and molecular biology with a Spanish minor, and he's in the 99th percentile MCAT, the med school admissions exam. So crazy smart.
He's doing engineering in Espanol.
Crazy.
But F&M is there. They are like starting to get a little bit of momentum as far as resources. They're doing a really good job fundraising, and they don't have a ton of resources, but it's coming along, and it's good to see.
Fun fact from Jason Bryan in the chat: he announced F&M Wrestling for 3 seasons when he lived in PA. Mazer, if I'm saying that correctly, Jim is Mazer Gym, one of only 2 all sports venues among schools with D1 wrestling that are named for a wrestler. The other is Gallagher Iba.
Also, there's some tricky good results, sneaky good results on the backside. Saldano came all the way through, Tech P. Ryan, and I guess he didn't beat Nietenbach. He got a forfeit in the 3rd place match, but Nietenbach pinned Isaac Dean as well. 197. We had Elam versus Rademacher in a 4-3 match in the semis. One we were looking forward to. A lot of people were looking forward to it, and it was one we had circled. But
and by the way, we had said on the show that I had said I'm going to go Rocky over Rademacher in the finals. Pre-seeds come out,
yeah,
and Rademacher was the 3, and then right away, or within a couple hours, Kozak said they got updated, and Rademacher was the 4. So we did end up seeing it as a semi.
Good bout. Rademacher fought hard with Rocky's ability. And I'll tell you what, Rademacher is a big dude, and you go watch that match, and he does not look like the big dude. Rocky towers over him. Rocky's ability to get to a lock and pull it in is a thing of beauty, and that's sort of how he scored on Rademacher with like 3 seconds left in the first period,
which was the entire difference in the match. Like that takedown was the match.
It turned into a scramble, and it looked like both guys had a chance, and then Rocky gets the finish with 2 or 3 seconds left. Rademacher really came hard the last 2 minutes. Elam looked like he was feeling it. He was getting pushed to the edge, getting a couple. He got at least 3 stall calls, but he was able to hold on for the 4-3 win. Great bout, and then Elam beat Novak 7-3 in the finals. Looked really good there too.
Yeah, and I thought Elam, like he's just working his way back. He's not like I'm now kind of solidified that I think it's going to be Elam versus Barr in the finals in March, Saturday night. Which I'm biased. I love Rocky. I love Josh. They're my guys. But
I think it was really good. I think it was really good for Rocky. Again, the week before for the Cyhawk duel, there were people saying, "Oh, well, it's good that they started at heavyweight because they can rest Rocky if they don't need him." Like, what are you talking about? Like, he's been resting for 2 years, which obviously that narrative is now proven stupid, as I thought, because if he really needs rest, he didn't have to wrestle CKLV, so he didn't need rest. But I think you saw in the Rademacher match where he got pushed, he got tested, he was feeling it. He needed those kind of matches. Mm-hmm. You need those kind of matches to blow your lungs out, to get better for next time, to feel that 7-minute pressure so that you're better going forward. So great job by Rocky. Still coming back from things and still getting the job done.
Yep.
Okay, 285. Christian Carroll was sort of the story here. Younger Bastida, your top seed, cruised to the finals with a bunch of tech falls, but it was down below. Christian Carroll with an 11-2 major over Gaddy Alley, and then a real gutsy win in a 5-5 match late. It might have been OT even.
It was
OT. Carroll has this thing where he kind of, I don't want to know if you want to call it swim single or misdirection single, but for a heavyweight, he kind of shoots from a good distance away, and he gets you off balance, and that's how we got Lanazga 8-5 in overtime there, and then a pretty solid 5-3 win by Bastida. Carroll looked not bad in that match as well.
No, and I think too, that match, no matter what, I mean, those guys trained together for a little bit when they were both at Iowa State, last year when Carroll was there. So, I'm not surprised it was a close match. I do think Christian Carroll, this is stock up for me. Carroll is finally settling into his own. I think he's at the right program. I think he's at the right weight. He looks good. When Christian Carroll's been one of those guys that for the last couple of years we've been talking expectations for him. Like, he can do this. He can do this. He's finally doing it. He's beating an All-American and majoring him, and then he's winning out the gritty overtime win against another top 10 guy, and then you hold Bastida, who was running through this bracket with winning 21-5, 13-2, 21-5, 23-4, just tearing through it, and then he loses 5-3. So I'm really excited. I think Carroll's solidifying himself as a contender. Where do you think you'll put him in the updated crystal ball?
Carroll? I don't know. I had him blood round. Or no, I did not. I had him round of 16, I believe. But
let me look.
It's really tough.
No, you don't even have him in there.
I didn't have him in there?
No.
It's really tough to understand. It's really tough to understand what the win over Tay means, because Tay hasn't looked himself.
I know.
If you had Christian Carroll, an 11-2 winner, over Tay Gadiali's resume from this year, and not Tay Gadiali the name,
yeah,
you might not put that much stock into it. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I still think his pace, his lungs, his offense looked really good, but he's really undersized.
Yeah. Hopefully we get it this weekend. I mean, him versus Cole Marasola should be a great match. And honestly, after that...
Yeah, that's a big one. Ask me after that bout.
And that's really one of the... Again, kind of he doesn't wrestle too many more great guys. I don't think he sees a top 25 guy the rest of the season. So, Carroll... Be interesting to see what he does against Marasola this weekend for sure.
Yeah. So that was the CKLV.
Yeah, fun weight. And man, it's funny. We keep talking about it that we're in the thick of it. And I was looking ahead to next weekend because already you got some fun stuff. I mentioned that maybe Ty Waters versus Landon Robideau in the Oklahoma State, West Virginia duel on Sunday. Friday night, maybe we do it in a preview show, I don't know, but number 2 Ohio State versus number 10 NC State, and there's some doozies in there. I mean, you got number 1 Vince Robinson versus number 3 Nick Bouzakis. You got number 1 Jesse Mendez versus number 7 Ryan Jack. You got Coy versus Ethan, 7 and 8. You got will Trumbull return? I don't know where Trumbull is, but you could have a 2-3 and Isaac Trumbull Nick Feldman.
Did he? Back this week. Yeah, he wrestled. He beat.
I missed that.
Beat Kaka.
So maybe a 2 versus 3 and Trumbull versus Feldman. Matty Singleton versus Carson Carchlow, 3 versus 5. So really, really good duel. It looks like we're going to get on Friday night.
Brad Elder, I did not say that Tay is undersized, you boner. I said Christian Carroll is.
You boner.
Your muffs on. You boner.
You boner. So yeah, we're gonna get some more good wrestling this weekend. And even though it's early December, it's just what a season of wrestling. Was there anything else that happened this weekend that I might have missed?
I don't know. There might be some things that I missed.
Did you see? I don't know. Did we talk about? No, we didn't talk about it. 2 commits over the weekend. You want to talk a little your world for a minute? So first of all,
we in the Penn State guys.
Well, Penn State and Cornell. I think we talked about Gray Burnett in the last show.
Who'd Cornell get?
I'll give you a hint. He was the first guy to medal in Cadet Worlds, both freestyle and Greco this year. I know it's early. Put that thinking cap on.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
He got
first guy.
He got a bronze in Greco and a silver in freestyle.
Kikiniou?
Yep. Committed to Cornell last night.
Well, I didn't even see that. Yeah, that's a good.
That's a huge get for them.
Man, though, like, I mean, it's a great thing, but Cornell is absolutely loaded with prospects. Well, they're loaded everywhere, actually. But in the 49, in the 41, the 57 range, they got like 100 bodies that are like all talented. That's crazy.
Yeah. So him to Cornell, and then Penn State just continues this recruiting momentum. Clinton Shepard, number 6 overall in your junior big board, who did not have.
I love him. I love Clinton Shepard.
Did not have Penn State in his initial 8, and the common word as soon as I texted Willie when I was like, man, he didn't even have Penn State in his top 8, and he's like, yeah, because Cal kind of, I don't think he used the word slow played his interest, but Cal's not this guy who like is desiring, I got to be the first guy to call or this or that, so his top 8 was interesting, no Penn State, and then here Penn State gets him, and Penn State now has the 2, the 4, the 6, and the 8 in your class of 2027 big board.
They only go evens. No, Shepard had an interesting path. And, I mean, first things first, listen, Clinton Shepard is only a junior. And so, for me to say Penn State came in late is kind of relative because he hasn't wrestled a match of his junior year. So that's not early. That's not late. But compared to a lot of the other elite big boarders in the junior class that have committed, the talk between Carroll and Penn State and Shepard was kind of late. Although Shepard did take a visit to Penn State, but the whole thing was later than other schools had done. Shepard, I think, was really, really close, or at one time I would consider a Nebraska lean. And then the Bassett thing happened. And that kind of gave him second thoughts. And then he started like being pretty tied to, as far as rumors, Ohio State. And then he takes a visit to Penn State after the Ohio, like it looked like Nebraska. Then it looked like, because I was very interested in this because I'm the biggest Clinton Shepard fan. So I really paid attention to his recruitment. So it looked like Nebraska. Then it sounded like Ohio State, and that was close to happening. That's what it sounded like. And then he takes a visit to Penn State. He's on the sidelines of a football game. And so it was really interesting. And now, I think it's a great fit. Clinton Shepard to me has really a defined offensive style. So I like the fit.
Where do you think he projects college weight wise?
Well, so he was entered. He was, I had him at 50. I had him ranked at 50. He's going to go, but he changed. I mean, I shouldn't say changed. I thought he would be at 50 for Ironman. He did change. He absolutely did change. He was originally 50. He's going to go 44. He's going 44 this week for Ironman. So I think he's going to be the 2 or 3 seed. I think. Yeah. The well, I guess I hope I'm not spilling the beans. I won't say the seeds, but the major players at 44 for Ironman are going to be Rainey, DeCraker, I forget who else, and then obviously Clinton Shepard. So he's 44. He's still got 2 more years of high school. I think he's a 57.
You got to get your big board updated on Rockfin. Top 12 now all committed.
Are they?
Yeah.
Who's the highest uncommitted?
Actually, you know what? Tanner Hodgins committed to Oklahoma State. He's your 12.
Yep.
Max committed to Virginia Tech. He's your 16. Lucas Bowe at 19. Is he committed?
No.
So 19. The highest uncommitted.
Wow.
All right, I'm looking at the chat. See if... All right. I think that's all I got. You got anything else?
No. It's time to I got to wrap my head around some of this stuff. That a lot of stuff happened between high school and college. What happened last week and what happened coming up. I will have new Fab 50 rankings. We are keeping McCourt number 1 ahead of Faith Christian for the time being. Don't freak out. Yes, we know that Jax Forrest may or may not be going to Oklahoma State. We know that Sam Herring's out. We know that Shamus Regan's out. We know that Jaden O'Farrell's out. We know that Eli Herring's out. I mean, they lost a ton between injury and transferring and going to college. They lost a ton. We know this. But this week's Ironman, everything will come out in the wash. So I'll be posting that soon. I got to work on a new crystal ball since CKLV is done. Yeah, lots of good stuff.
I love it. All right, we'll be back with another show. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on everything we discussed today. Go Bills.
Go Bills.